Howdy, folks. I'm Crybaby Camelopardalis, cacophonously clomping closer to Camelot.
I'm Amber.
And here are more Camelots for us to clomp closely to. That works. I'm sure it does. Really. And Camelopardalis, which is a mouthful to say, by the way, is a giraffe, apparently. Why they didn't just name it the giraffe constellation, I don't know.
Giraffalopardalis.
Giraffalopardalis. It sounds more like a camel. Let's get started. Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Embarrassing My Fiance by saying, just because we are getting married, it does not entitle him to my inheritance. Information, if you read this post, don't worry, I've posted it in Am I the Jerk, and it was removed. I'm reposting it here. I'm a 32-year-old female, and I recently got engaged to my partner, a 35-year-old male, just a year ago. As of right now, we have been together for 5 years, and our wedding is planned for May 2025. I'm just going to get into it. Unfortunately, only a couple weeks after our engagement, my Nana passed away. The reason I will not disclose. My Nana and Grandpa worked extremely hard throughout their lives, were very successful, educated, and had really high-paying jobs. They were very restricted on spending money, young, and so they lived their elderly years with lots of it. Worth noting that my grandpa is a very, very intelligent man, and he's very smart with money and investments. So when I say lots, I do mean lots. My Nana wrote hugely generous sums of money in her will that were to be inherited by me, my brother, and my 3 cousins. Even after the money was divided up, there were still thousands to each of our names. I also won't disclose the exact amounts. When I heard the news, I told my fiance, and he was incredibly overjoyed, much more than I expected him to be. I went along with it, and I shrugged it off until later in the day I heard him on the game with his mates saying that I can pay my credit card off with that money, mate. We can finally get that boy's holiday that we've been planning, eh? And laughing. I walked into the room and asked what money, and he immediately looked at me funny and said, From your Nan, babe. I immediately exploded at him and said, You won't be paying anything off without my permission, and there most certainly will be no boy's holiday. It's not your money to have. It's written to me from my Nana. It's not for you. We had a shouting match, and he left the room upset. He later got off the game and found me in the kitchen, where he scolded me again and said, We are getting married. You will become my financial burden. Any money that you take in is also mine. It was incredibly selfish of you to make a fool of me in front of my friends and giving them false hopes of a holiday. Again, it's worth noting that it wasn't me who said anything about a holiday. And where I become a financial burden, I don't know, considering that I have a very good job and I don't want children. I left the house without saying a word, and I'm typing this at my friend's house right now. I forgot to mention that this incident has literally just happened. The reason my fiance only just found out about this is because until even now, I didn't know if the money was coming to me or not due to several family members and court complications. Am I the jerk? Edit, this was originally posted yesterday. I have spent the night at my friend's house. Alright folks, what do you think?
No, I don't think OP's a jerk here. I mean, I think what he is doing is not okay. He's spending her money without even consulting her, and that's not cool, and I would think long and hard about getting tied to someone who has no problem spending your money like this.
Well, and then also, this is happening before they get married, and oftentimes, I don't know how it works in the UK, and this I think is in Europe somewhere, oftentimes marital assets are only what you have when you accumulate it inside of the relationship, and that might not be the case in the UK, but I know that is the case in a lot of places, and it depends on your jurisdiction. So him being like, well, this is my money too, is blatantly probably wrong. I don't know the laws again, but it seems like it probably is wrong.
Yeah, and then to be like, well, you're going to be a financial burden. Like, how are finances going right now? Are you really that much of a burden to him? It sounds like OP has her own job and everything. It doesn't sound like getting married will not automatically make someone cost more money.
Yeah, well, maybe he thinks that OP will immediately quit their job and become a stay-at-home mom or something like that, even though they don't have any plans about that. And if that is the case, then OP probably needs to get that cleared up pretty quickly, if this relationship is even worth salvaging, which if I if I had to say, it isn't worth salvaging.
Yeah, I don't think it is either, but if you are considering it, definitely have a sit down and figure out what he means about that whole burden thing and what
Hmm.
his financial expectations are for the future.
Yeah, because clearly he's not on the same page as you. And it seems like OP is doing very well financially for themselves. And this is, again, it seems like they've taken some time to put money away and basically be smart with their money. It also seems like OP's boyfriend might spend money when they get it, just kind of judging from his attitude here. And that might be part of the reason why he has a hard time paying off his credit card debt and whatnot. Money doesn't often solve problems in the long term.
Mm-hmm.
You if you have credit card debt, the reason why you have credit card debt a lot of times is because you've overspent. It doesn't necessarily mean like there are circumstances where people like they get into medical debt
Mm-hmm.
or they get into some other kind of debt. And there are of course instances where a large cash infusion will help take care of the problem. If you're already financially responsible, then you're going to be financially responsible after getting a lot of money, right?
Right, but if someone is always living outside their means just to live extravagantly, then that's where you can easily rack up a lot of debt,
Yeah.
and getting more money won't fix it.
Yeah, getting more money won't fix your spending habits if your spending habits are already bad. And if his spending habits are already bad, then OP really should consider what a relationship with him looks like in the future. Are they going to be living from paycheck to paycheck just because he doesn't have any self-control when it comes to spending money?
And do you want to take on his debt?
Yeah. And I think those are all good questions to ask. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Midnight's Child says, you really want to marry this guy? There are two problems. One, he assumed that he's entitled to the money. And two, he assumed that he can spend it on discretionary items that does not include you. Point two is the bigger problem. And Pride of Cape Town says, Nana gave OP two gifts, the money and got the fiance to reveal how much of a jerk he was before any marriage or commingling of assets. OP needs to run like her tampon string is on fire, and before he tries to baby trap her. Well, that's actually a really good point, right? Because like the way he's kind of talking here, maybe he does intend on baby trapping her.
Yeah.
And Critical Simple 3122 says, okay, so he has shown you that he thinks of you as a burden and is planning on spending money that isn't actually his on his boys and is screaming at you because you won't fall in with his plans. You're nuts if you actually marry him. And Patton Mom says, not to mention that he probably expects an even bigger windfall when your grandfather passes. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I the jerk for not letting my soon-to-be ex-wife take food from my fridge which she bought for me? This is a little dumb, but it's eating at me, so I wanted to ask here if I'm the jerk. The other day, my soon-to-be ex-wife, who has moved out, was doing some food shopping for the kids, and I asked for some specific cream cheese. I'm on a bagel kick. We are amicable, so shopping and requests aren't uncommon. Unfortunately, she didn't see the message while she was at the store, so she didn't get any. I went to the store the next day and I picked up the aforementioned cream cheese myself. Unbeknownst to me, she went to the store again the following day and picked up the cream cheese, not knowing that I had gotten some already. When she brought it over and I told her that I had gotten some myself, she stated that she would just take it and keep the stuff that she's got as I don't need it anymore. I objected to this because I was certainly going to use it within a matter of day or two, and she had, after all, gotten it specifically for me. She again said that I didn't need it and that since she bought it, that she has every right to take it. I replied that she bought it specifically for me. I will use it, and she doesn't get to decide for me what I do and I don't need. We argued back and forth a bit, and she didn't take it. So it's said that this was never an issue while we were together, and I gladly share food with my family in the household. I fear that I might be the jerk for not letting her take it because I believed it to be mine. I honestly could have lived without it and just gotten some more later. I did use it myself, and I felt that there was a principle to the matter. I'm uncertain if telling her no was the jerk move. Am I the jerk for insisting that she not take the cream cheese? Alright folks, What do you think of this story?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think OP is being very nice here. Like, she went out of her way to do something for OP, and he's like, I've already got cream cheese. And she's like, oh, okay, I'll just take the cream cheese. And he's like, no, that is my cream cheese. You bought it for me. It is mine now. Give it here.
So instead of being like, oh, thank you so much, and just accepting it as a gift,
Mm-hmm.
OP had to go and be like, I already got some, right? As if rubbing her mistake in her face, or as if she even made a mistake here, because it doesn't even sound like she made a mistake. She went out of her way to be nice and kind to you, and I can see why you guys are getting a divorce.
Yeah. Well, and why is she doing the food shopping for OP's house? Like, I understand wanting the kids to have food, but like, shouldn't he be doing the food shopping at his house?
You would think. And it sounds like he does do some because he went over to the store to get some cream cheese. So I don't know what their arrangement is. It might just be that she and he kind of trade off doing grocery shopping, or they're both still separating and they haven't worked out all the logistics yet. But it seems like OP is being kind of mean spirited about this, and I think that they owe their ex-wife an apology, right?
Yeah, well, he got into some. I think his comments have been deleted now, but he had these really weird comments in the about like how people were asking him about, well, it's her money. He's like, well, our finances aren't like divided yet, so it's everything's mine basically,
Yeah,
which is not a good like. I don't know what they're because it sounds like she has her own place now that she somehow can afford, so it sounds like she has money of her own.
yeah.
But his whole like, even if she was a stay-at-home mom, and be like, everything is mine, it's all mine, is a really not a good way to see a partnership.
No, it isn't. It isn't. And it's pretty telling about how he viewed probably the relationship in general, and this might be why they're having problems now. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Euthanasia63 says, does anybody wonder why you are divorced? You're the jerk. And how about a thank you for going back to the store to buy you cream cheese the next day? How about that? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Like, all he needed to do was say thank you to begin with, and none of this would
Yeah,
have
they
happened.
have all the cream cheese he wanted.
And Loud Low 9846 says, nobody's wondering anymore after reading OP's post. It must have been so stressful for his wife being married to somebody so unbelievably petty, and even think that he needs to post on Reddit to ask. Wow. And Tall Confection 960 says, but the divorce is so amicable. Lol. Enjoy your bagels, OP. Alone. You're the jerk. Alright, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for refusing to watch my kids on the anniversary my ex cheated on me? I'm a 32-year-old female, and I was married to a 34-year-old male for 11 years, and we were together for 14 years. After going on a guy's trip while I stayed at home with our kids, he cheated on me. Cheating is my deal breaker. Despite wanting an amicable divorce, my ex did a series of malicious things during our break that made everything more difficult, including committing a felony against me. I didn't press charges, which resulted in him losing his employment. Just for context on the state of our relationship. My ex wants to go on a trip to celebrate his 2-year anniversary, which is also the time that he cheated on me. He does not have a support system, so he wants me to watch the kids on those days. I told him no, and I explained last year when he asked me that it's disrespectful to even ask. He feels like I should just get over it, but to me, I feel like I value myself too much to do so. I figured that this will be an annual thing. Am I the jerk? Edit for some info. I am with my kids 5 to 7 days a week. I always take them if my ex asks me to, this date being the only exception. My kids don't know about this conflict as my ex and I only communicate on the parenting app. There is no risk of harm to the children by my refusal. My ex has to notify me if he is getting a babysitter due to the right of the first refusal being in our parenting agreement. But he has stated specifically that he can't and won't be getting a babysitter. I know that we both love our kids, and if I had an inkling that he was harmful to them, I would instantly go for full custody. As I mentioned above, the anniversary of many traumatic things that has happened. The cheating was the start. My ex refused to let me in the home that I paid half of the mortgage for, destroying sentimental clothing, blackmailing me, a ton of verbal abuse, hacking into all of my accounts, email, Facebook, Amazon, etc., starving my pet who was still in the home because I couldn't bring them to my family's house, dragging on the divorce, the list goes on. I have no interest in pressing charges for the felony that my ex did, mentioned in the comments. I just feel like it would be incredibly negative and have a negative impact on my kids. My ex already struggles to provide for the kids financially, and the recording is only available through the Freedom of Information request with both the permission needed to access it. Honestly, it's just me talking about feeling defeated and being upset with his recent action. So it makes him look worse, especially given the context. And the thing that the felony he committed was that they don't live in a one-party consent state and he recorded their conversation. So, if you were wondering. All right, folks, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I don't think OP is in the wrong for not wanting to babysit for him. I would definitely recommend that OP get some therapy, maybe talk to a domestic violence resource center to see
Mm-hmm.
how to proceed because it sounds like some of the things he did during the course of the divorce, like starving your pet and like destroying her sentimental property, that is abuse.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they may have helpful insights that can help OP moving forward dealing with him because he does not sound like a very good person.
No. So I really want to say that OP is not at fault at all here. I don't think that OP, you need to take care of the kids on this day that's so hurtful. And maybe if he had actually been amicable in the divorce, you would be more willing to do something like that. But it sounds like he went out of his way to be as mean and mean spirited as possible. And he can't just expect you to get over this and be like, why can't you just take care of the kids on this particular day? Look, guy, you did some pretty terrible things, and there are consequences to actions. If you have a hard time affording a babysitter, maybe ask a family member to take care of the kids instead. I think there are a lot of different ways that OP's ex could go about this and still have their anniversary dinner or whatever you want to call it, right? So I think that he's just continuing trying to turn the screws, is really what it sounds like.
Yeah. And that's kind of why I think talking to someone at a domestic violence resource center might be helpful because they may be able to help OP identify if he is still trying to manipulate her from a distance,
Yeah.
and figure out how safe a situation this is for the kids if they need safety planning, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know OP wants what's best for the kids, but sometimes having an abuser like in their lives, like it doesn't sound like he's being abusive to the kids, but there's no guarantee that won't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so I definitely recommend proceeding with caution dealing with this man because he's not a safe person.
Yeah. Not at all. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. Amber has a joke.
Why couldn't the library host the event?
Why couldn't the library host the event? It was because they threw the book at the library.
It was because the library was booked.
Oh, the library was booked, I mean, we were kind of on the same wavelength. One involves criminal charges and the other involves just not having enough space. Same difference, right? And I have Mega Mint. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Manic Monday. I hope the start of your week is going alright. And if you have a day off today, I hope you have a great day off. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please, have it a short rhyme about money.
Throwing good money after bad will only make you sad. Learn to save, it's all the rave.
I like that. I like that a lot. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.